What's going on, football fans? It's me, JR Clark, back again with another pound for pound ATL. Not obviously not live, um, and obviously just here by myself. Um, we had a great show the other day with Savion Mixon and Jonathan. We were just talking about, some of the things that were upcoming. Obviously, training camps right around the corner, and we got to talking about some of the camp battles that we were interested in. And one of the camp battles that we got to talking about was like the wide receiver room. Now, obviously, Drake London's locked in, number one. We all pretty much expect him to have a really good year this year with the quarterback play, um, improving in the way that we think it's going to improve. That should make for all around better receiver play across the board. And also, with that being said, like receiver play being upgraded through free agency, that seemed like that was a mandate, so to speak, or that was a focus for this new coaching staff. Is that, hey, obviously the regime that was in here before had a different philosophy in how they wanted to distribute the ball, and so therefore the you know the roster reflected that. Now you have a different philosophy coming in, and the roster is going to reflect that, right? You've already seen sound bites or snippets in reports, especially from Daniel Flick talking about comments from the only two holdover wide receivers from last year, which is Drake London, obviously, and Cordell Hodge. Both those saying like, "Oh yeah, we're airing it out this year," slinging the ball all over the place. So that kind of tells you that the philosophy is definitely shifting, as we figured it was going to. So with that shift, they obviously needed to upgrade the position. Now we've talked about um, the two biggest additions, or the ones that we figure are going to make the biggest impact. And I'm talking about, let's see here. Bam. Ooh, we're going to do that a little different. Let's see. Nope. Hmm. Go back to this and remove and add again. There it is. That's what I wanted. Sorry about that. So the biggest additions obviously are Rondell Moore and Darnell Mooney. Darnell Mooney being the presumed number two um, wide receiver, and Rondell Moore, we feel like he's going to be the potential slot guy, potential gadget guy. So kind of let's take a quick look at what these guys have done, in their career thus far. Neither one have had like an amazing start to their careers. Both are pretty young, in their early to mid 20s. So plenty of like time left to speak, so to speak. So yeah, sorry, phone's going crazy. So Rondell Moore has had played in 39 games and has had 135 receptions for a grand total of 1,201 yards. So that's okay. That's decent for what, about 3 years worth of play there. 8.9 yards a reception, 3 touchdowns. And here's where it gets a little interesting for Rondell Moore. He gives you a little bit more versatility. 52 rushing attempts for 249 yards and a rushing touchdown. He also, you can throw in some kick returns and punt returns. It seems like his time out in Arizona, they were just really just trying to figure out how to use him. So I envision his role maybe possibly being that like Tutu Atwell role, that was out in LA, taking the top off the defense kind of deal, potentially some gadget plays. LA really like their jet sweeps. I could see them trying to use Rondell Moore in a situation like that. But the bigger money is going to be bet on Darnell Mooney. 60 games, so obviously more games for him. 2,500, right about almost 2,600 yards, 12.2 yards of reception, 11 receiving touchdowns. He has had a 1,000-yard season, but once DJ Moore got to Chicago, Darnell Mooney's production went down quite a bit. And then you can also lay the feed at inconsistent quarterback play as well. So Darnell Mooney is looking to bounce back and become that solid, number two option, that 1B, that B receiver to Drake London's 1A or, alpha, type position. So right now, this looks like your main receiving core. Drake London, Darnell Mooney, and Rondell Moore. But I got to thinking there is another guy that we might be forgetting about. Now, it's a potentially a long shot. Um, just sitting here today, watching some film, watching some games. And it kind of hit me coming off that conversation that we had with, Savion, that potentially, maybe, Terry Fontenot struck gold again, and we haven't really even thought about it or haven't really given much credit to it. See if I can find where I put that picture at. So did Terry Fontenot strike gold again? Was he able to uncover a gem, right? We feel like he did with Dee Alford, who has quickly become a fan favorite. Obviously, he's from Georgia, so there's a little bit different tie there. But Dee Alford had some success up in the CFL and then was able to parlay that into a contract with Atlanta, where he's enjoyed some various success and is in play for the cornerback two position, but definitely in play for the slot corner position, where he enjoyed some success last year until like he weirdly kind of got uh, put on the bench for some odd reason. But he's already been talked about quite a bit in this offseason. So that got me to thinking about, is there a possible guy that we maybe have overlooked, and that guy is Austin Mack. Now Austin Mack's 6'2", 205, played at Ohio State, born in Fort Wayne, Indiana, had in 2020 was on the New York Giants. Didn't really do a ton there, but as you can see here, his last year in the CFL was given a real chance to be like the number one or be productive. And he got, 78 receptions on 120 targets. So decent amount there, but he was able to come down with 1,154 yards and 4 touchdowns. The thing that I noticed when I was watching some games is obviously the CFL, they do a lot of motion naturally, just how their game is played. So that's something he's used to there. But he averages, 14.8 yards of reception. He was a, pretty deep threat for the Montreal Alouettes. And so here's an example here. Oh, let's see if I can. All right. So we're going to back this up so you can. All right. So he's number 81, and he's right here, if I'm not mistaken. So check this out. So he just torches the guy and makes an amazing catch. Like, absolutely. And that was one thing I noticed when watching Austin Mack is like, because the QB play is a little different in the CFL, um, he was making catches like that on a regular basis. Not just like on them, not clean catches as far as like where the ball was placed. He was able to make a lot of like contested catches, a lot of hard catches, and was able to get behind the defense quite a bit. So as a 6'2" guy with some speed, um, I think he has a real chance to, make a move on this roster. And I thought to myself, I was like, you know, why, after having such a great year up in the CFL, why did he decide to come back down here? I don't know, other than maybe money. Like, I know that sounds cold, but um, his, the base salary that he's getting is more than the highest paid CFL players. So that probably has a lot to do with it. And, these guys, he tried to make it in the NFL before, and they don't give up on their dreams. They constantly try to follow through on it. So this is another opportunity. He had a really good showing last year up in the CFL, as let's see if I can get it showed up here. But right there, I mean, almost had like, good chunk of his yards came after contact. So, and he had a long of 61. So he's got good long speed. He's able to make contested catches and tough catches, as you saw in the video. He's just somebody that I'm kind of excited about and kind of see what he does in training camp. Does he stand out? Can he make, a name for himself? And can he make some noise? Like, I'm not predicting that he's going to, but Terry has, made it a habit to reach up to the CFL and see if he can't find some, some talent up there that may be untapped or, um, diamond in the rough kind of deal. And this might be yet another example of him being able to, you know, turn over a stone and get some really good production. So this is a name to watch out for. This is the name to keep your eye on as we go into camp, as we go through camp, and especially as we move into uh, preseason itself. One more little bit of housekeeping. I'm gonna see if I can't get it pulled up here for y'all. We are having a meetup or a meet and greet, as we have done in the past. Bunch of some of your favorite Falcon content creators. The roster is not fully set yet, or I would really start throwing out some names, but it's going to be down at the Benchwarmers in Stockbridge. There's the address right there, 1375 Rock Quarry Road in Stockbridge, Georgia. It'll be the preseason game against the Baltimore Ravens. Game kicks off at noon, so you can show up around 11. Come say hi, shake hands, and just hang out with some of your favorite creators as we watch the Atlanta Falcons take on the Baltimore Ravens in the third and final preseason game. I'm not 100% sure if um, I'm going to be able to make it as of yet, but there's a lot of other content creators that will be there, and y'all will, definitely have a good time. And any of y'all that have come out to our meetups before, they're always fun and always engaging. So that's all I got for y'all today. Again, as we roll into training camp, I may try to like spotlight some other guys that I'm interested in, but Austin Mack was a guy that I remembered in a sense was on the team. And when I started looking into him, I was like, hey, there's a chance for Terry to make yet another Canadian discovery, so to speak. Anyway, folks, remember there's no show this coming Tuesday, and we'll be back after that and hopefully back into a more normal groove. Appreciate y'all. You can always find me on Twitter. I'm at Grim1128, and Jonathan is at Jonathan M. Holder. And yeah, as always, Falcons fans, rise up.